Hey everybody, welcome back to Honeycomb. We are going to be making some cocktails today. If you're not following along on Instagram, please do subscribe first to our YouTube page and then follow on Instagram. I'm at KO Caution Instagram. Follow at Ajimamag and at Honeycomb Manila on Instagram to get all of the latest information and to see our stories and stuff like that. If you don't know, the guys over at the Bleeding Heart Rum Company, but they're changing it to the Bleeding Heart Spirits Incorporated or Spirits Group, something like that. They came out with a new product called Santa Ana Gin. So they're moving from being just a rum company to now having gin as well, kind of in a little two-trick pony kind of move. This is Santa Ana Gin, and it is inspired by Manila during the 20s, the roaring 20s, I believe, which is kind of that prohibition era in North America, I should say, was dealing with prohibition. People are just having a wild time here in Manila, and this bottle is inspired by that culture. So in the kit that they sent over, there were a few things, including some stuff for cocktails. So they sent over this nice cocktail shaker, which is colored gold, and a stirring spoon, which is dope. But they also included this 45 record of some music inspired by that same era. And we managed to grab ourselves a record player recently, so we're gonna put this over there, play the music, and make some cocktails. So I'm gonna go do that right now. All right, so the record's spinning. I'm gonna put that right there. Now, the liner notes of that record included this nice picture of the Santa Ana Gin and then some information about the product. Now, the product is made in France, right? It's a Filipino product made in France because the technology that they wanted to use for vacuum distillation was based there. So they actually make it there, but it's only sold in the Philippines at the moment. And you can grab it in, I think, on Boozy and SNR from your local liquor retailer. But because it's inspired by the Philippines and it is a Philippine product, they included a bunch of Philippine flavors in their botanicals. So they have ilang ilang, calamansi, alpina, and dalandan, which are kind of the focal points of this gin. Now, when I tried this gin the first time, it was actually the day before I tested positive for COVID, unfortunately. But I'm all better now. We did our quarantine and I've been cleared to come back to work. But as a result, we had to go back on some of our tasting notes and kind of hold some of the content that we were going to release until I could recalibrate and confirm the flavors that we were getting from this gin. And I'm happy to report that it does have a very nice, bright botanical flavor. And you can very much taste those Philippine citrus fruits. The dalandan and the calamansi are very much present here. Just, on top of it being a very clear, classic gin. Now, inside the liner notes, they've also included some instructions on how to make a couple of beverages. They have the Santa Ana Gin and Tonic and the Santa Ana Gin Martini. And I thought we would take this opportunity to make a couple of those right now. So the first one we're going to do is the Santa Ana Gin Martini. And that's basically dry vermouth and gin. So they sent over this little bottle as well of dry vermouth. I don't know what brand this is, but we're gonna go with it. Their brand ambassador, I guess, made the selection and designed this for the experience. So we're gonna go with the one that they recommend. Maybe we can hit them up and ask what it was. 10 ml of that and 70 ml of the gin. But we're gonna make two. So we're just gonna double that and put in 20 ml of dry vermouth and 140 ml of the gin. And then it says here to pop in some zest of lemon and garnish with a lemon twist, but we don't have lemon, so we're gonna use orange for our purposes today. So let's do it. Now, for most bartenders, they use a jigger, but I have issues with volumetric measurements. So whenever I make a cocktail, I still use a scale. It's a little bit more accurate, and that's just the barista in me coming out. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in that 100 ml of 140 ml of gin. Now it does say to combine in a mixing glass and stir thoroughly until chilled. But when we did our Zoom with them, they shook it. So I'm gonna shake it as well, because that's always just a little bit more fun, isn't it? Right, so. Alright, so we're gonna bit over about 146 ml. That shouldn't be a problem. A little bit more gin shouldn't be a problem. And then we're gonna put in, we'll tear our scale and pop in 20 ml of the dry vermouth. Alright, 21. And then we're gonna put in a lot of ice to shake. Alright, when you're putting in the ice, you wanna put in a lot of ice until the cup is really, the shaker is really full. And we'll close it up. Give it a shake. Now, not too many shakes because you don't want to dilute it too much, but you can feel when the shaker is quite cold, it's ready to serve. And I'm going to take out the ice from our glasses, which we've chilled. And serve out our martinis. Right, so this is our Santa Ana Gin Martini, and we're going to garnish it with a little bit of orange peel. A little bit of spray of orange zest, and a little twist, and we'll sit it here on the lip of the cup. A bit of zest. Little twist, and sit it here on the edge of our cup. And these are our Santa Ana Gin Martinis. Really easy to do. Cheers. Delicious. The flavor does really come out from the gin. You do have the citrus flavors in there, but the dry vermouth really gives a nice little kick to the drink. All right, so we're gonna move this aside and we're gonna make the other ones, but in the meantime, I'm gonna call, who's over here? Dave to come drink the other martini. Gin, Santa Ana Gin, and dry vermouth.
Nice.
Just a classic martini.
Yeah.
Good stuff, right? All right, and we're back, and now we're gonna do the other drink on the liner note, which is the Santa Ana Gin and Tonic, which is pretty straightforward. It's gin, it's tonic. How can you go wrong? But it says here, as the band warms up, slide into the mood with the signature Santa Ana Gin and Tonic. Tall, crisp, and refreshing, this classic combination perfectly highlights the Philippine floral citrus notes of Santa Ana Gin. The ingredients are 30 ml of Santa Ana Gin and 90 ml of Fentman's Naturally Light Tonic Water, which we have here. They also sent this over. Basically, you put them together inside a glass and fill with ice. Personally, I like to do my gin and tonics in a bigger mouth glass than a highball, so we're going to be using a rocks glass tonight, also because the rocks glass has this really nice 20s feel to it. But also, you can use other tonics. You don't have to use the Fentman's. This does work well with Fever Tree, which we have here, and even something less expensive. One of the nice things about the Santa Ana Gin is that because it has this very sophisticated quality to it, it does shine through whatever tonic water you're using. But for today, we're going to be using the Fentman's and Santa Ana. Let's go. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the gin first into the glass with ice. All right, and that's 30 ml of gin. We got 33 in there. And then we're gonna fill this up with ice. Alright, we put that's about 90 ml or 90 grams of ice, and then we're gonna finish it off with this naturally light tonic water. I think I didn't bring a bottle opener. Ha! I did it! Alright, so now we're gonna put in 90 ml, which will bring this up to 200 ml in total. Now when you pour your gin and tonic, make sure that you give it enough speed in the pour so that it all mixes together, but you can also just give it a nice little mix with your mixing spoon after the fact. It says here to garnish again with an orange twist and an orchid. We don't have access to an orchid. We can do the orange twist again, but for a little bit of a contrast, I actually wanted to use apple for this particular drink. And what we can do is we can just cut the apple and pop in a slice of apple into the drink, like so. And I find that makes for a nice sophisticated look and adds an extra aromatic to the beverage. Cheers. Ooh, that is good. That is a good gin. All right, so those are two really simple cocktails that you can do with the Santa Ana Gin. Thank you so much to Santa Ana, the Bleeding Heart Rum Company, for sending this over. If you are looking to pick this up, you can get it on Boozy, and apparently you can get it at SNR, but I have been to SNR a few times and we haven't seen it there yet. But in terms of great Philippine products, this is something, I think that this is a highlight for 2020. It has been quite a challenge for them to get it out. You know, speaking to them online on Zoom and in interviews, apparently they've been working on this for a long time. It's taken 5 years to develop. So even though gin is distilled and served immediately, it doesn't have that same aging process that rum does. The work that goes into it was definitely there. And then, of course, they have this beautiful label designed by, what's the name of those guys? I forget. But they had the same guys who designed the previous labels and designed a lot of great labels to come back and do the artwork on this gin label. And what you have is something that is quite luxurious, both in image, in the feel of the product, but also in the flavor. Have you tried this gin? I'd like to know your thoughts. Are you enjoying it? Do you think that there are changes that could be made to improve it? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. My name is Keo Kosha. Follow along on Instagram. I'm at Keo Kosha. Followed at Daily Drink Mag and www.dailydrinkmag.com. And subscribe on YouTube to Honeycomb Manila and follow Honeycomb Manila on Instagram. I wish you guys good luck. I wish you guys a great new year. 2021, here we come. Peace.